Commander Jiho stood on the bridge of the New Dawn, staring at the massive alien ships that surrounded his vessel. They had appeared out of nowhere, at least 50 of them, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. Their hulls were smooth and silver, covered in strange symbols that glowed with a soft blue light. "Should we prepare weapons?" asked Lieutenant Park, his hand hovering over the control panel. Jiho shook his head. "No. We came out here to find new friends, not make enemies. Open a communication channel." The main screen flickered to life. The creature that appeared made several crew members gasp. It looked like a giant insect, with multiple eyes and mandibles that clicked together when it spoke. A translation device made its words understandable. "Primitive vessel, you will identify yourselves immediately," the alien said. Its voice sounded cold and annoyed. "I am Commander Jiho of Earth. We are explorers from the planet Earth located in this solar system. We come in peace." The alien's eyes seemed to focus on him with what might have been amusement. "Earth? We have scanned your vessel and traced your origin. You come from a Class 12 death world." The way it said the last word made it sound like a curse. Dr. Hana stepped forward from her science station. She was the ship's expert on alien life. "Excuse me, but what is a death world?" Another screen appeared, showing a rotating image of Earth. Numbers and symbols covered the display. The alien, who had introduced himself as Admiral Vextar of the Galactic Coalition, gestured at the screen with one of his many legs. "Your planet is a nightmare," Vextar explained. "The gravity is 30% higher than standard. Your weather systems are violent and unpredictable. Your oceans contain enough salt to poison most species. Your atmosphere has dangerous levels of oxygen. Your world is filled with thousands of predator species that hunt and kill. Your microscopic organisms cause deadly diseases. Most civilized species would die within days on your world." Jiho looked at Hana, confused. "But that is just normal for us." "Exactly," Vextar said. "You are Deathworlders, survivors from a hostile planet. The Coalition has encountered 7 other Deathworld species in our history. Most were too violent to join civilized society. They destroyed themselves or had to be contained." The words stung. Jiho kept his voice calm. "We are not violent. We have had peace on Earth for over 50 years. We want to join the galactic community as friends." Vexitar's mandibles clicked in what the translation device called dismissive laughter. "Friends? You misunderstand your position. The Coalition protects the galaxy from threats. Deathworld species are always threats. They are strong, aggressive, and dangerous. You will come with us to the Coalition homeworld. There, the Council will decide what to do with your species." "And if we refuse?" Jiho asked quietly. "Refuse?" Vextar seemed genuinely surprised. "You have 1 small ship. I have 50 warships. You have no choice." Jiho took a deep breath. He thought about his orders from Earth. The United Earth government had told him to be diplomatic, but never to surrender humanity's freedom. "Admiral Vextar, I respect the Coalition and hope we can be allies, but humanity does not accept orders from anyone. We are free people. We will return to Earth and our government will send proper ambassadors to meet with your council as equals." The silence that followed was heavy. Vexitar's multiple eyes seemed to narrow. "Equals? You think you are equal to the Coalition? We have controlled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We have technology you cannot imagine. We have fleets that number in the millions of ships." "That is very impressive," Jiho said calmly. "But it does not change our position. We will not be threatened or forced. If the Coalition wants peace with humanity, we welcome it. If you want war, we will defend ourselves." Vextar made a sound that might have been anger. "You dare threaten the Coalition with 1 ship?" "I am not threatening anyone," Jiho replied. "I am stating facts. Humanity will not be slaves or prisoners. We have survived on our world for millions of years. We have overcome every challenge our planet threw at us. We will overcome this too." The screen went dark. For several minutes nothing happened. Then Vextar appeared again. The council has authorized me to teach you a lesson in humility. In 3 of your days, I will take a strike force to your homeworld. We will destroy your military capabilities and your leaders will learn respect. This is the price of your insolence." The communication ended. The alien ships began to move away, their engines leaving trails of light in the darkness of space. Lieutenant Park looked terrified. "Commander, what have we done?" "They are going to attack Earth." Jiho was already typing commands into his console. "Send an emergency message to Earth Command. Full encryption. Tell them everything that happened here. Tell them the aliens are coming and they think we are weak." Hana approached him. "Jiho, maybe we should have agreed. They have 50 ships just here. They said they have millions more. How can we fight that?" Jiho finished his message and sent it. Then he turned to face his crew. They all looked scared. He understood why. The aliens were powerful, and humanity had never fought a space war before. "Listen to me," he said. "Those aliens think we are weak because we come from a hard world. They think surviving makes us primitive. They are wrong. We survived because we are strong. We survived because we adapt. We survived because we never give up." He pointed at the screen where Earth could be seen in the distance, a blue and white sphere. "That planet made us. The gravity made our bones strong and our muscles powerful. The predators made us smart and quick. The diseases made our immune systems tough. The storms and earthquakes and volcanoes taught us to work together. Everything that was supposed to kill us made us stronger." Jiho smiled. "Admiral Vexitar is about to learn an important lesson. Humans are not dangerous because we come from a death world. We are dangerous because we are still here. Now set course for Earth. Maximum speed. We need to get home and prepare for war." The new dawn turned and accelerated toward Earth. Behind them, Admiral Vexitar was gathering his strike force, confident that the Deathworlders would soon learn their place. He had no idea that he was about to make the biggest mistake of his very long life. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity had not just survived their harsh world. They had conquered it, and now they were ready for a new challenge. Admiral Taeyang looked at the holographic display in Earth's command center. 50 red dots were moving through space toward Mars. Each dot was an enemy warship. Behind him, dozens of officers worked at their stations, their faces serious and focused. "How long until they reach Mars orbit?" Taeyang asked. 2 hours, sir," answered Suji, his tactical officer. She was young but had proven herself brilliant in simulations. Now they would find out if she was just as good in a real battle. Taeyang nodded. "Send the signal to all ships. Battle formation Delta. We meet them at Mars." Around Earth's moon, 12 large warships powered up their engines. They were not as big as the alien ships, but they were built tough. Earth's engineers had designed them to withstand the planet's harsh conditions. Their hulls were thick metal alloys that could survive re-entry through Earth's atmosphere. Their reactors were powerful enough to fight the planet's strong gravity. Captain Minji sat in the cockpit of her fighter craft, the Reaper 7. Around her, 300 other fighters were launching from the carrier ship Indomitable. She checked her systems and smiled. The aliens had no idea what was coming. "All fighters, this is Minji. Remember your training. These aliens come from easy worlds. They have never fought anyone like us. Show them what Earth's children can do." The response came back from 300 pilots, all of them ready. "Yes, Captain." At Mars, Admiral Vexitar watched the approaching human ships on his screen. He counted only 12 capital ships and many smaller fighters. He clicked his mandibles in amusement. "Is this their entire fleet?" he asked his second officer. "Scans show this is everything they have in the area, Admiral. Should we destroy them quickly?" Vexitar considered. "No, let us be civilized. Give them one more chance to surrender. Then we will destroy half their fleet to teach them respect." The communication channel opened. Admiral Taeyang appeared on the screen. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. "Alien vessels, you are in restricted space. Turn back now or we will open fire." Vexitar could not believe what he was hearing. "You will open fire?" "Human, I have 50 ships. You have 12. My ships are twice as large as yours. Surrender now and we will only destroy your military. Refuse and we will burn your cities." Taeyang's expression did not change. "You were warned. All ships, weapons free. Engage the enemy." The human ship suddenly accelerated forward at incredible speed. Vexitar's eyes widened. Impossible. Their acceleration should kill their crews. What he did not know was that humans could survive much stronger forces than his species. The human ships pushed forward at speeds that would turn coalition crews into paste. Inside the ships, the humans felt the pressure, but their strong bones and muscles held firm. Minji led her fighter squadron straight at the coalition line. Her ship twisted and turned in patterns that should have knocked her unconscious. But humans had evolved to be hunters with quick reflexes and strong bodies. She pulled 9 times Earth's gravity and barely felt dizzy. The coalition fighters tried to follow her, but their pilots could not handle the forces. One by one, they lost consciousness or had to slow down. Minji and her squad punched through their lines and headed for the capital ships. "Target their engine sections," Minji ordered. "Hit them hard!" The human fighters unleashed their weapons. They did not use complex plasma or energy beams. Instead, they fired solid metal projectiles accelerated to incredible speeds. The aliens called them primitive kinetic weapons. But when a solid piece of metal hit at a fraction of light speed, it did not matter how advanced your shields were. The first coalition ship shuddered as dozens of projectiles tore through its hull. Explosions bloomed along its side. The ship began to list to one side, losing power. On the Indomitable, Suji coordinated the attack. "All railguns, fire on my mark. Target the enemy flagship." 12 human capital ships fired at once. Massive metal slugs shot through space. The coalition flagship tried to evade, but the humans had calculated every possibility. The slugs hit like the hammer of an angry god. The flagship's shields flickered and died. Its hull cracked open. Atmosphere vented into space. Admiral Vextar felt his ship shake. "Damage report. Hull breach on decks 5 through 12. Shield generators offline. We are losing power." "How is this possible?" Vextar screamed. "Our weapons are advanced. Our shields are the best in the galaxy." But the human ships kept coming. They did not retreat when hit. They did not slow down when damaged. One human ship took a direct hit from a plasma cannon that should have melted it. The ship's hull glowed red-hot but held together. It kept fighting. Taeyang watched the battle with cold calculation. "Their weapons are designed for species with weak materials. Our ships are built to survive Earth. Their plasma barely hurts us." Suji highlighted 3 enemy ships on the display. "Admiral, those ships are trying to break through to Earth. Send Minji and her squad." "Stop them." Minji received the order and smiled. "You heard the Admiral. Follow me." She pushed her fighter to maximum speed. The forces pressed her into her seat, but she had trained for this. Every human pilot had spent years building up their tolerance to high-G maneuvers. It was not pleasant, but it was possible. The 3 coalition ships were fast, but not fast enough. Minji's squadron caught them before they could reach Earth's orbit. The fighters swarmed around the ships like angry wasps. Their weapons found weak points and exploited them. 2 of the ships exploded. The 3rd tried to run, but Minji personally chased it down. "This is for threatening my home," she whispered, and fired. Back at Mars, the battle was turning into a massacre. The coalition had come expecting an easy fight. Instead, they found opponents who were faster, tougher, and more determined than anything they had ever faced. Human ships that should have retreated after damage kept fighting. Human pilots who should have passed out from the G-forces kept flying. Vextar finally understood the terrible truth. These were not primitive survivors. These were apex predators. Every harsh thing about their world had made them into perfect warriors. The high gravity gave them strong bodies. The dangerous animals taught them to think and adapt. The violent weather showed them how to survive anything. "All ships retreat," Vextar ordered. "Emergency jump now." The coalition fleet scattered. Some ships were too damaged to jump and were destroyed. Others barely escaped. Of the 50 ships that had come to teach humanity a lesson, only 19 limped away. The human fleet did not pursue. They had made their point. Admiral Taeyang opened a channel to all coalition frequencies. "This message is for the Galactic Coalition. Humanity offered you friendship. You responded with threats. We have defended ourselves. If you come in peace, you will always be welcome. If you come for war, remember what happened here today." On Earth, people celebrated. Humanity had faced the unknown and won, but Taeyang did not celebrate. He knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy now knew that humans could fight. The question was, would they leave humanity alone, or would they come back with more ships? As Vextar's damaged flagship jumped away, the Admiral sent one message to the Coalition Council. "The Deathworlders are not prey. They are apex predators. I recommend we never provoke them again. But not everyone in the galaxy would listen to that warning. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Mars. Ambassador Yuna walked through the Coalition's central station, surrounded by aliens who looked at her with wide eyes. Some moved away when she approached. Others stared like she was a dangerous animal in a zoo. She sighed. This was her 5th diplomatic mission, and it was always the same. Fear and fascination mixed together. The galaxy had heard about the battle, and the stories had grown with each telling. Now humans were seen as unstoppable warriors from a death planet. Ambassador Yuna called Counselor Threx, the bird-like creature who led the Coalition Council. Thank you for meeting with me. Yuna bowed respectfully. Of course, Counselor. I hope we can discuss the trade agreement. Threx led her to a private room. Once inside, he seemed to relax slightly. Before we talk about trade, I must ask you something. Is it true that humans can survive in the vacuum of space? Yuna blinked in surprise. What? No, of course not. We need air to breathe just like you. But the report said your pilots survived for several minutes after their ships were damaged. Oh, that. Yuna nodded. Yes, a human can survive in vacuum for maybe 90 seconds before serious damage occurs. But we cannot live in space. We die just like anyone else, just a bit slower. Threx looked horrified. 90 seconds? Most species would die in 10 seconds. And you call that just a bit slower? Yuna realized this was the problem. Things that seemed normal to humans looked like superpowers to aliens. She tried to explain. Counselor, Earth is a hard world. Our bodies adapted to survive there, but we are not invincible. We just have different limits than you. Threx pulled out a data pad. Let me read you some of the reports we have received about humans. You eat foods that contain poison. You intentionally hurt your bodies with something called exercise to make them stronger. You willingly jump from high places for fun. You can heal from injuries that would kill most species. You can survive temperature ranges that cover 200 degrees. Should I continue? Those things sound scary when you list them like that, Yuna admitted, but they are just normal for us. That is exactly what frightens people, Threx said quietly. Your normal is our nightmare. Meanwhile, on the human colony world of New Sol, Commander Hyun was dealing with a different problem. His Special Forces unit, the Ghost Battalion, had just received a report of raiders attacking the colony's outer settlements. Hyun studied the information on his screen. Krell warriors. 40 ships. They hit the mining station and killed 20 miners before leaving. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Jin, frowned. Why would the Krell attack us? They are supposed to be the strongest military in the galaxy. We are just one colony. They are testing us, Hyun said. They want to see if the stories about humans are true. Nari, what do we know about the Krell? Intelligence Officer Nari pulled up files on the Krell Dominion. They are a warrior culture. They have the largest military fleet in known space. They conquered 60 star systems through force. They respect only strength. Then we need to show them strength, Hyun said. Jin, prepare the battalion. We are going hunting. The Krell had made a mistake. They thought attacking a small colony would be easy. They thought humans might be tough, but numbers would win. They sent 2,000 warriors to New Sol to completely destroy the Ghost Battalion's base. The Krell commander, war leader Krax, led his forces to the human base at night. His warriors were trained fighters, each one tall and powerful. They wore heavy armor and carried plasma weapons. They expected the humans to either run or fight from behind walls. Instead, the base was empty. Where are they? Krax growled. Search the area. Find the humans. His warriors spread out into the forest around the base. That was their second mistake. Humans had evolved as hunters. They understood forests. They understood darkness. They understood patience. Hyun watched through his night vision scope as the Krell stumbled through the dark. The Krell could see in daylight, but at night they were almost blind. Humans had better eyes for darkness, another gift from their predator ancestors. All teams, on my signal, Hyun whispered into his radio. The Ghost Battalion had positioned themselves in the trees and shadows around the Krell. They were outnumbered 50-1, but they had chosen the battlefield. They had chosen the time. They had every advantage. Execute. The forest exploded with gunfire. Krell warriors fell before they could even see their attackers. They fired back wildly, hitting trees and each other. The humans moved like ghosts, firing from one position and then disappearing before the Krell could respond. Krax tried to organize his troops, but it was chaos. His warriors were trained for open battle, not for this kind of fighting. The humans were using tactics he had never seen. They struck and vanished. They used the terrain against him. They used the darkness like a weapon. Retreat to the ships, Krax finally ordered. We need light and open ground. But retreating through the forest was even worse than advancing. The humans hunted them every step of the way. Krax lost half his force just getting back to the landing zone. When they finally reached their ships, Hyun made his final move. The Ghost Battalion had placed explosives near the landing zone during the previous night. Now they detonated them. 3 Krell ships exploded. The others took off in panic, leaving hundreds of warriors stranded on the ground. The battle lasted 3 days. The Krell had numbers and heavy weapons. But the humans had knowledge of the land, superior night vision, and most importantly, the willingness to fight in ways the Krell had never experienced. They set traps. They poisoned water supplies. They struck without warning and vanished into the forest. By the end, the Krell had lost 1,400 warriors. The Ghost Battalion had lost 3 soldiers. Krax returned to the Krell Dominion in shame. He reported to the Emperor, a massive warrior covered in scars from 100 battles. You lost to 40 humans? The Emperor said, his voice dangerously quiet. My Emperor, they fought like demons. They used cowardly tactics. They refused to fight honorably. The Emperor stood and walked to a large window showing the stars. The humans did not fight cowardly. They fought smart. They used their advantages. That is what warriors do. He turned back to Krax. The Coalition was right to fear them. These Deathworlders are not soft survivors. They are hunters who learn to hunt in the hardest place in the galaxy. What should we do, my Emperor? The Emperor's eyes gleamed. Humanity is a threat. If we do not destroy them now, they will grow stronger. They will inspire others to resist us. We cannot allow this. He raised his hand and pointed at the star map on the wall. Gather the Great Fleet. We will destroy Earth itself and end the human problem forever. Back on Earth, Ambassador Yuna received the news about New Sol. She also received a message from Intelligence Officer Nari. The Krell were mobilizing their fleet. Yuna contacted Earth Command immediately. The Krell are coming. This is not a raid. This is an invasion. Admiral Taiyang received the message and called an emergency meeting. When everyone was assembled, he spoke calmly but firmly. We won the battle at Mars because they underestimated us. The Krell will not make that mistake. They are bringing everything they have. How many ships? Someone asked. Intelligence estimates 5,000 warships, maybe more. The room went silent. That was 10 times what they had faced before. Everyone knew that humanity could not win against those numbers. Not with conventional tactics. Taiyang looked at each person in the room. We have 2 choices. We can try to negotiate or we can fight. Who votes for negotiation? No one raised their hand. Then we fight, Taiyang said. We may lose. But Earth has never surrendered and we will not start now. Prepare for war. Fleet Admiral Day stood in the command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around him, holographic displays showed the entire solar system. Red dots filled the edge of the display, moving inward. 5,000 red dots. The Krell Great Fleet had arrived. Status of our forces? Dai asked. General Yunha, commander of ground forces, answered first. All planetary defense forces are ready. We have fortified every major city. If they land troops, we will make them pay for every meter of ground. Captain Jiho, recently promoted and given command of the flagship Prometheus, reported next. The fleet is ready, Admiral. 300 ships. We have also deployed 2,000 defense satellites and 16,000 mines throughout the system. Day nodded. 300 ships against 5,000. They were outnumbered 16-1. But humans had faced bad odds before. Good, remember the plan. We do not need to destroy them all. We just need to hurt them so badly they decide Earth is not worth the cost. The Krell fleet entered the solar system in a massive formation. Their ships were huge and covered with weapons. They had come to crush humanity and erase them from the galaxy. The Krell Emperor himself watched from his command ship, eager to see the Deathworlders fall. Send the message to the humans, the Emperor ordered. Give them one chance to surrender. The message reached Earth Command. Humans, this is the Krell Dominion. You have 3 choices. Surrender completely, leave your planet and never return or die. You have 1 hour to decide. Admiral Day sent a reply immediately. This is Fleet Admiral Day of Earth. We have a 4th choice. Make you regret coming here. We choose that one. The Krell Emperor laughed. Brave words from dead men. Begin the attack. The Krell fleet advanced toward Earth. As they approached Jupiter's orbit, the first mines detonated. Massive explosions lit up space. 10 Krell ships were destroyed instantly. 20 more were damaged. That was just the welcome gift, Day said calmly. Now the real fight begins. The human fleet engaged the Krell at Saturn's orbit. Captain Jiho led the Prometheus straight at the enemy center. The human ships were smaller and faster, darting between the larger Krell vessels like wolves attacking buffalo. The Krell had powerful weapons, but they were designed for long-range battles between large ships. The humans got in close where the big guns could not track them easily. Then they unleashed everything they had. The battle raged for hours. Human ships took terrible damage but kept fighting. The Krell were shocked by how much punishment the human vessels could absorb. One human destroyer lost half its hull but continued firing until its reactor exploded. Taking 2 Krell ships with it, Jiho's Prometheus was hit repeatedly. Fire spread through 3 decks. Half the crew was dead or injured. But Jiho refused to retreat. All remaining power to weapons. We are not done yet. Combat medic Jisoo moved through the damaged sections, treating wounded crew members. Alarms blared and emergency lights flashed red. Part of the hull was gone, exposing one corridor to space. Jisoo wore her spacesuit and continued working. She pulled injured crew members to safety, sealed wounds, and kept people alive through sheer determination. A section of the ship lost pressure. Jisoo found herself in vacuum, but her suit held. She had less than 10 minutes of air. She could have saved herself, but there were 3 crew members trapped in that section. She pulled them one by one to an emergency airlock. By the time she got them all to safety, her air was gone. She woke up in the medical bay 2 hours later. The doctor told her she had been without air for almost 3 minutes. Any other species would have died. Humans could survive just long enough to be saved. The battle moved closer to Earth. The Krell had lost 800 ships, but they kept coming. They were winning through sheer numbers. The human fleet was down to less than 200 ships. General Yunha watched as Krell landing craft headed toward Antarctica. They are landing troops. All ground forces prepare for combat. The Krell chose Antarctica because it was far from major cities. They thought the cold would not matter to them. They were wrong. Antarctica was cold even by Earth standards. Temperatures dropped to minus 60 degrees Celsius. The Krell, who came from a warm planet, had never experienced anything like it. Their armor protected them at first, but the cold found ways in. Their weapons started to malfunction. Their communications equipment froze. And waiting for them in the ice and snow were General Yuna's forces. The human soldiers wore special cold weather gear. They had trained in these conditions. For them, this was just another day in Antarctica. For the Krell, it was frozen hell. The battle on the ice lasted 2 days. The Krell had more troops, but they were slow and clumsy in the cold. Humans moved easily across the ice. They used the weather as a weapon. When blizzards came, they attacked. When visibility was 0, they struck and vanished. Krell warriors started to freeze to death. Their commanders tried to retreat, but the landing craft had trouble operating in the extreme conditions. By the time the survivors got off the continent, they had lost 3,000 troops. The humans lost 200. In space, Admiral Day watched the battle status. The Krell were still advancing, but they had paid heavily. He looked at Captain Jiho's status. The Prometheus was barely holding together, but Jiho was still fighting. "It is time," Day said quietly. "Execute Operation Last Stand." 200 human ships, many of them damaged and barely functional, suddenly changed course. They all aimed at the center of the Krell formation where the Emperor's flagship sat. They accelerated to maximum speed. The Krell commanders realized what was happening too late. "They are going to ram us. Shoot them down." But the human ships were closing too fast. And loaded in their cargo holds were not supplies or troops. They were antimatter missiles. Each ship was essentially a giant bomb. Jiho sat in his command chair as the Prometheus accelerated. Alarm screamed. The hull groaned under the stress. He opened a channel to all remaining crew. "This is the captain. Everyone get to the escape pods now." "That is an order." "Sir, what about you?" asked his second officer. "Someone needs to fly this ship, now go. Tell everyone that humanity does not surrender." As his crew evacuated, Jiho piloted the Prometheus toward the largest Krell ship he could see. He thought about Earth, about how he had seen it from space. That beautiful blue world that had made humanity what they were. He smiled. "Earth made us strong enough for this," he said. See you on the other side. The Prometheus hit the Krell flagship at near relativistic speed. The antimatter missiles detonated. The explosion was visible from Earth, a new sun that briefly lit up the night sky. When the light faded, the Krell flagship and everything around it were gone. One by one, other human ships did the same. They were suicide attacks, but every human pilot flew their ship willingly. They knew what they were dying for. 200 explosions tore through the Krell formation. When the fires finally cleared, the Krell Great Fleet was shattered. They had started with 5,000 ships. Now less than 1,200 remained, many of them damaged. The Emperor's ship was destroyed. The chain of command was broken. The surviving Krell commanders looked at the wreckage and at Earth, which still hung in space, defiant and unconquered. They looked at their casualty lists. 4,000 ships gone, 50,000 warriors dead on the ice, and the humans were still fighting. The most senior surviving Krell officer made a decision. Signal retreat! We cannot win this. The Deathworlders are insane. The Krell fleet withdrew from Earth's system. They had come to destroy humanity, but instead humanity had destroyed them. The most powerful military force in the galaxy had been defeated by a species that had only been in space for a few hundred years. On Earth, people cried with relief and grief. They had won, but the cost was terrible. Captain Jiho and thousands like him were gone. The human fleet was in ruins. But Earth still stood. Admiral Day addressed the planet on every channel. Today we proved something important. We proved that no matter how strong the enemy, no matter how bad the odds, humanity will not break. Earth is our home, and no one takes our home from us. The galaxy had been watching the battle. Now they knew the truth. Humanity was not just strong. They were unstoppable, not because they could not be killed, but because they refused to stop fighting even when death was certain. The age of humanity in the galaxy had truly begun. 2 years had passed since the Battle of Earth. President Sayok stood before the Galactic Council, looking at the representatives of 200 species. The chamber was enormous, built to hold thousands. Today every seat was full. Everyone wanted to hear what the human leader would say. Honored members of the council, Sayok began. 2 years ago, many of you believed humanity would be destroyed. Some of you hoped for it. Some of you feared us. Today I stand before you not as a conqueror but as a friend. Councillor Threx, who had become a close ally of humanity, nodded encouragingly. The coalition had changed much in 2 years. They had learned that strength and violence were not the same thing. Earth has received many requests, Sayok continued. Requests for military aid. Requests for training. Requests for protection. We have tried to help where we can. But today I want to propose something more permanent. A mutual defense treaty. Not where humanity protects you, but where we protect each other. There was murmuring in the chamber. Some species were interested. Others were cautious. Then a Krell representative stood. It was not the Emperor who had died at Earth. It was the new Krell Chancellor, chosen by their people instead of through combat. President Sayok, the Krell said, "My people came to destroy you. We lost our greatest fleet. We lost our Emperor. We thought we had lost everything. But you did not destroy us in return. You offered peace. You helped us rebuild." Why? Sayok smiled sadly. Because we understand loss. Earth has known war and destruction. We learned that true strength is not about who you can defeat. It is about who you can help. The Krell are not our enemies anymore. We can be stronger together. The Krell Chancellor bowed deeply. The Krell Dominion accepts your treaty. We would be honored to stand with humanity. One by one, other species agreed. By the end of the day, 60 species had signed the Mutual Defense Treaty. It was the largest alliance in galactic history. Admiral Yuna had changed careers. She was no longer a diplomat. After the war, she had joined the military and quickly rose through the ranks. Now she commanded the Joint Defense Fleet, a new force that combined ships from all treaty members. She stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Unity's Promise. The ship was unique. It had been built by humans but designed with input from a dozen species. The crew was mixed too. Humans worked alongside Krell, coalition members, and others. Captain Quan, a human officer who served as her second-in-command, approached. "Admiral, we have a situation. Long-range sensors have detected unknown ships at the galactic rim." "They are heading this way," Yuna frowned. "Unknown? Not in our database?" "No, ma'am. The computer has no record of these ship designs. And Admiral, there are thousands of them. Yuna felt a chill. She had hoped for peace after the war with the Krell, but it seemed the galaxy had other plans. Sound General Alert. Get me Ambassador Minho at the Council immediately. Ambassador Minho had replaced Yuna as Earth's chief diplomat. He was young but smart and had a gift for understanding different cultures. When he received Yuna's call, he was in a meeting with other ambassadors. Within an hour, the entire council was in emergency session. We are calling them the Void Collective, Minho explained to the council. They come from beyond our galaxy. They have already consumed 3 star systems at the rim. They do not communicate. They do not negotiate. They just take everything and move on. How many ships? Someone asked. Current estimates are 10,000, maybe more. They are heading toward the core of our galaxy. The council chamber erupted in panic. 10,000 ships was more than any single species could fight. It was more than the coalition could fight. It was even more than the Krell at their height could have fought. Councillor Threx called for order. Please, everyone calm down. When the chamber quieted, he turned to Minho. Ambassador, what does Earth recommend? Minho looked at all the scared faces around him. Just 2 years ago, these people had feared humans. Now they were asking humans for help. He took a deep breath. Earth recommends we fight together. Every species contributes what they can. We combine our fleets and our knowledge. Humans are good at fighting, but we do not have all the answers. We need coalition technology. We need Krell warriors. We need everyone. The Krell Chancellor stood. The Krell will send 50,000 warriors and 500 ships. Threx nodded. The coalition will contribute 10,000 ships and full access to our technology database. One by one, species pledged their support. By the end of the session, the Alliance had committed to building a fleet of 50,000 ships, the largest military force ever assembled. Admiral Yuna was given command. She spent 3 months organizing the fleet and training the crews. The hardest part was getting different species to work together. The Krell were used to aggressive tactics. The coalition preferred cautious defensive strategies. Humans used a mix of both. We need to think differently, Yuna told her commanders at a strategy meeting. The Void Collective does not care about losses. They will keep coming until we stop them or they destroy us. We cannot fight them the way we fight each other. Captain Quan had an idea. Admiral, what if we use Earth tactics? Hit and run. Guerrilla warfare on a galactic scale. We do not meet them head-on. We make them chase us. We use the terrain of space against them. A coalition officer objected. That is not how proper warfare is conducted. We should form a defensive line and hold it. A Krell officer growled. We should attack their center and destroy their leadership. Yuna raised her hand for silence. Captain Quan is right. But so are both of you. We need all 3 approaches. Coalition species will hold key defensive positions. Krell forces will lead the direct assaults, and human-trained units will conduct raids behind their lines. We use everyone's strengths. The plan came together. 3 months later, the combined fleet met the Void Collective at the Galactic Rim. The battle lasted 2 weeks. It was the largest military engagement in recorded history. The coalition defense line held strong, forcing the Void ships into predictable patterns. The Krell warriors led brutal frontal assaults that broke the enemy formations, and human-led mixed-species raiding parties destroyed enemy supply lines and command ships. The turning point came when Captain Quan led a dangerous mission deep into Void territory. His ship, carrying a mixed crew of humans, Krell, and coalition members, infiltrated the enemy fleet and destroyed their central coordination hub. All ships, the enemy command is down, Yuna broadcast to the entire fleet. Now we push them back. The combined fleet advanced. Ships from dozens of species fought side by side. A human cruiser saved a Krell destroyer. A coalition frigate covered a human carrier. Everyone fought for everyone else. The Void Collective had never faced organized resistance before. They had always overwhelmed their enemies with numbers, but this galaxy fought back with more than just numbers. They fought with cooperation, with shared knowledge, with unity. When the battle finally ended, the Void Collective retreated back beyond the galactic rim. They had lost 6,000 ships. The Alliance had lost 12,000, but they had won. President Sayok visited the victory celebration on Unity Station. He moved through crowds of different species, all celebrating together. Krell warriors traded stories with human soldiers. Coalition engineers discussed technology with Earth scientists. He found Admiral Yuna standing alone, looking out a window at the stars. Admiral, you should be celebrating. You won. Yuna shook her head. We won, President. Not just humans, everyone, that is what matters. Seok smiled. 2 years ago, the galaxy feared us. Now we stand together. How did we do it? We showed them something they did not expect, Yuna said. They thought Deathworlders would be monsters. We showed them that surviving Earth's challenges taught us more than just how to fight. It taught us how to never give up, how to adapt, how to work together against impossible odds. And when we taught those lessons to others, they became stronger too. On the main floor of the station, a young alien approached a human soldier. The alien looked nervous. Excuse me, I wanted to ask you something. The human smiled. Sure, what is it? I want to be brave like a Deathworlder. Like you, how do I learn? The human thought for a moment, then knelt down to be at eye level with the young alien. You already are brave. You fought in the battle, right? Yes, but I was scared. Being brave does not mean not being scared. It means being scared and doing what needs to be done anyway. That is the real Deathworlder spirit. It is not about where you come from. It is about refusing to give up no matter how hard things get. The young alien straightened up. I can do that. I know you can, the human said. That is what we have been trying to tell everyone. Later, Ambassador Minho addressed the council one final time. 2 years ago, you called us Deathworlders like it was an insult. You feared us because our world was hard and we survived it. Today, I hope you understand that Earth did not make us monsters. It made us survivors, and now working together, we have all become survivors. The galaxy is stronger because we are in it, and we are stronger because you are with us. The council gave him the longest standing ovation in its history. Species that had once trembled at the mention of humans now applauded them. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Strength comes in many forms. The Coalition had technology. The Krell had warriors. But humanity had something else.